teenagers be certain that a local scheme offers real job prospects? Well, Diane Johnson is from the Electrical Contractors Association. She's come in to join us this morning. Thank you very much for coming in.
Good morning. Good morning.
What advice then would you give to anybody who's maybe done their GCSEs this week, unsure about whether or not they were going to go on to A-levels or not, finds they haven't quite got what they wanted? Is an apprenticeship the right thing to do?
Well, first of all, I'd say to them, don't worry, you can go to the National Apprenticeship Scheme, but there are companies such as EAS, JTL, and also Total People who act like brokers. They're what we call, they match young people with employers. What saddens me is that people look at an apprenticeship as maybe because they haven't made the grade. And I think we've got to change how we look at apprenticeships, because for me, an apprenticeship is the gold star. It's a skill for life. I'm not only the skills ambassador for the Electrical Contractors Association, I'm actually an employer. I have a family company that's in Northwich in Cheshire. We've been employing apprentices since 1946.
And it used to be... Sorry,
No, I was just going to say that apprentices who have jobs with you are very lucky. But not all companies in this economic climate can afford to, one, take the risk on a young person, two, spend the money on training them, and three, guarantee them a job.
There's quite a few aspects there. Let me take one of those aspects, and that is, what does a young person think an apprenticeship is now? Now, an apprenticeship to me shows that it's quality and skill. And you have to have an employer, you're right, but that person has to study for a long time. Whereas the government now says you can do an apprenticeship for 12 months. Now, last week I was on a radio programme with the Skills Minister, John Hayes, who admitted that the 12-month apprenticeship is really to get a taster for work that will then you be able to take experience to move on to another job. That's not an apprenticeship. So we have to, I want the government to actually brand the word apprenticeship so it is a credible alternative to higher education.
Which in many ways is the way it used to be, because apprentices, it was the gold standard, wasn't it? But
it was.
The finances is the crux of it, though, isn't it?
Well, it is, but again, I'd like the government to take the lead. We're all taxpayers.
But the government can't afford it.
I'm not asking them for money.
Go on.
Because the government use our money as taxpayers. Now, why can't they take the lead and say for anybody that's working on a government contract, whether it be local, national, regional, why can't in the tender they have to employ an apprentice? Can you imagine the opportunities that would be there if that was stipulated by the government? So I'm not asking them for money, I'm asking them for opportunities.
But a contract might not be more than 12 months, and what you're saying effectively is they need to be, I don't know what, 3-4 years? How long should they be?
I can only talk about my industry, which is the electrical industry, and that can be up to 4 years.
OK. All right, Diane, thanks very much for joining us. Give us some food for thought, nevertheless, this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Time now is coming up to 6:45. You're watching Breakfast from BBC News. Here are the main stories.